kind of cruelty-free. Hi guys, this is Heidi and you're watching HeidiKMakeup. I did a video about a week or so ago that was the 5 brands that I missed the most, that I had a ton of brand loyalty to when I transitioned to cruelty-free, that I was like, I'm never going to find replacements for them. And then I talked about the brands that I have kind of replaced them with. But I wanted to do kind of a follow-up to that where I talk about the top 5 brands that I really love that are owned by parent companies that test. Now, I have a video that I'll try to remember to link down below. If I forget, remind me, about how I feel about parent company testing. Over the last year or so, I've tried to transition away from brands that are owned by parent companies that test. And whenever I use a product that is owned by a parent company that tests, I let you guys know, because there are kind of things on both sides of the aisle about whether you consider that cruelty-free or not. If you want to know more about that, you can check it out down below. I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with buying from brands that are owned by parent companies that test. And I see the argument of both sides. Because it's kind of a gray area, and because I know that some of you who watch don't buy from those companies, I try my best, 1, not to feature them, 2, whenever I do talk about them, to let you know that they're owned by a parent company that tests, so there's never any confusion. If I'm talking about something and I haven't mentioned the parent company issue, it is cruelty-free to the best of my knowledge at the time of filming, because I want to be a resource for you guys that is reliable for wherever you fall on that spectrum. And 3, I'm trying to stop buying from them because I want everything that I talk about to be accessible to all of you, regardless of what you believe about that issue. It's been kind of a slow transition away from that, and it's taken a few years to kind of get there. But I wanted to do a video all about my 5 favorite brands that are owned by a parent company that tests, for those of you who are okay with buying from those kinds of companies. Obviously, if you're not, this isn't the video for you, but because I try not to mention them and because I don't talk about them that much and try to focus on brands that aren't owned by parent companies that test, sometimes I neglect talking about products that are really, really good that some of you would be willing to use because you're okay with the parent company issue. So these are my top 5 brands that are owned by parent companies that test. There are other brands that are owned by parent companies that test that I do like, but these ones are the top 5. The first one that I want to talk about is Bare Minerals. I've mentioned them before. I love their Bare Skin Foundation especially, but their powder foundation is really, really good. They also own Buxom, which has some really good lip glosses, cream eyeshadow bases as well. And this foundation is probably one of my favorite foundations ever. So if I didn't film these videos, I would probably stick to this foundation. So if you're okay with buying from parent companies that test, Bare Minerals is definitely worth checking out. You can get it at Ulta or Sephora or a Bare Minerals store. Another brand that is kind of higher end is Nars. This particular blush is Deep Throat. They're famous for their Orgasm blush, but I actually like this one on my fairer skin. I think it goes with my complexion a little bit better. Nars makes incredible blushes and incredible eyeshadows. I tend to steer clear of them in general, not just because of the parent company issue, but also because they're kind of pricey. But if you want some kind of like luxury, high-end brands and you don't mind parent companies that test, Nars is beautiful, especially their cheek products, like their bronzer. I love their Casino bronzer. Everyone talks about Laguna, but I love Casino. Their blushes and their highlights. I love Albatross. I used to have that, and Hungry Heart are both beautiful as well. And their illuminators, their liquid illuminators are really nice if you have dry skin. Another brand that's kind of high-end, this is a seasonal palette, and it is Tarte. Tarte is owned by a parent company that tests. They didn't used to be. They have some really nice, pretty kind of naturally products. I'm not a natural YouTuber, but they do have some pretty nice things like Amazonian clay, and their blushes are incredible. Their eyeshadows are pretty good. This is an old palette that I got for Christmas a few years ago. Their Christmas palettes are usually really good. They come with really nice lip glosses most of the time. I love their lip glosses. Their eyeshadows aren't my favorite, but they're decent. Their blushes are incredible, as well as their Lights, Camera, Lashes mascara. I absolutely loved that. Probably my favorite brand that is owned by a parent company that tests is Urban Decay. This one is their feminine palette. I'm working on it right now because I am trying to go through their stuff, but their eyeshadows are just amazing. I also really, really love their Perversion mascara is really nice. I've tried their Naked Skin foundation, which is really beautiful as well. And their eyeliners are very, very popular. They have all kinds of crazy colors, really cool packaging, and really high quality eyeshadows as well. I don't miss them a ton now that I'm kind of getting rid of these because I do really, really love Too Faced shadows, and I think that the quality is just as good between Too Faced and Urban Decay. If you're willing to buy from parent companies that test, Urban Decay is great. Really good replacement for MAC shadows especially. And lastly, a brand that I was extremely sad about and that if I didn't film videos, I would definitely be repurchasing from is NYX. It's a drugstore brand. They were just bought out by L'Oreal. They don't test on animals. None of these brands test on animals, but of course the parent companies do. And I love these soft matte lip creams especially. Their lip products in general are really good. Their lip glosses are beautiful. They have really decent eyeshadows for drugstore and their prices are really good, and they have a high range of products, including foundations, things that feel high-end that aren't necessarily high-end. My favorite product that I am working on in my project pan that will be done very shortly here is their Wonder Pencil, which is just awesome. I'd love to hear from you guys. I know that there's controversy on this issue, and if you guys don't buy from brands that are owned by parent companies that test, know that I'm transitioning there. I will be there soon, and I always try to be honest about what I'm talking about to the best of my knowledge. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. If this is your first time here, you can hit the subscribe button so the next time I do a video, you'll know about it. You can also see what my family is up to every day by subscribing to our daily channel, which is HeidiKMakeup, as well as my parenting channel, which is HeidiKMTV. There's a lot going on over there right now because we are trying to conceive again. So lots of exciting things across all channels. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys. I am doing a collab video with Simply Alex. So if you came over here from her channel, welcome. I hope that you enjoy my channel. I wanted to show you how I did this look today, which is a 40s inspired look. Alex did a 20s inspired look, so I will have her video linked down below if you haven't checked it out yet. So without further ado, let's see how I did this.